Good morning, Seawolves. Here we are again, sailing nerds of the world, getting together to discuss the past 20 hours and the upcoming 20 hours of racing in the Vendee Globe 2020. But before we get started, of course, I know why you're here. And excuse me for the cup, but I'm in a hotel right now, so this isn't my choice. But coffee is coffee. So are you guys ready? Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and... that just makes it, everything a little bit better, doesn't it? So let's get started. It was actually a very exciting 20 hours. And as I'm taping this, it's right now 8:30 European Standard Time, by the way. I'm in Amsterdam. Well, right now I'm not in Amsterdam. I'm actually in Belgium. Tomorrow I'll be in Luxembourg. But some of you have been asking me, what time I'm working with so they can, sync up everything better. So it's 8:30 right now, Eastern Standard Time, or European Standard Time, EST. And we might be in a real pivotal moment here. I mean, so far all of the sailors, they've been trying to find the right strategy, trying to find an edge somewhere, a place to put the hammer down. And as I'm taping this might actually be the moment. Before we go to the tracker, first, very sorry to say, you probably all heard the news, but Akitan, the boat by Armel Tripan, actually has turned around and is heading now for La Caruna for repairs, something to do with a broken head sail hook or something. So really too bad, definitely one of my favorite boats in the race so far. So hope that Tripan will be able to fix everything fast and get back in the race. Hope he gets back to La Caruna safely. And so another casualty of the storm that the foilers were sailing through over the night. So let's hop into the tracker and see what we're dealing with this morning. So, looking at the bigger overall picture, we can see that the foiling group, well, most of the foilers, not all, have made a significant way west and have beaten themselves through the system. And it right away shows, what I was talking about at the head of this video, the pivotal moment stuff. Because look here, we see that the first members of the foiling group have really reached the other side of this system and are now making their way into beautiful, clear winds. We can see it a little bit better here if we look at the weather app, and as you can see, I put a little pin, more or less where they are right now. And so they're clearing this ridge, and that means that as of that moment, they're gonna have an absolutely beautiful dark green road here to ride, which if we forward the prediction a little bit, this is the end of the day tomorrow, so still excellent conditions, and or excellent end of the day today, and then over tomorrow we see that pretty much continues, giving the sailors a real path to put some real distance between them and the other group that has chosen to stay more to the east of the system. And now as the storm goes over and goes more towards the north, they will be able to start making their way west also. But still, the guys up here that have braved the storm are now in a really good position. And of course, a lot of people in the comments were talking about Alex Thompson. What is Alex doing? Why doesn't he seem to be going so fast yet? And I think that this might be actually the moment where we might see several of the boats really pounce. So we have here Bureau Valet de, we have Linked Out, we have Arkea, and we have Hugo Boss, and Sea Explorer Monaco, and Apiva. And yeah, that's pretty much the group that's really in the good wind now. I mean, Hugo and Sea Explorer and Apiva are still kind of exiting the system, but making really good boat speeds right now, higher actually than the guys here in the pack for the most part. And so I think that we're going to see these 5 or 6 really split off, as they're going to have a real advantage being the first to enter this system and actually have favorable conditions, while the rest of the foiling fleet, so we have Cherelle, we have here Banque Populaire, we have Initiatives Keur, are still very much within the storm right now, full beating conditions, so they are not going to be doing really great speeds there, making a lot of distance over ground. And so the more these guys can get into this system here and make their way west and build up a real advantage, the more that's going to might be significant for the whole race. Of course, there's probably lots of other things going to happen, but if this little group here to the west is able to make significant distance, so, you know, depending on the timing, they might be able to build up, you know, a 30, 40, 50 mile lead in the situation. And that's, you know, the type of thing that's really significant. If it's a lead that's really in the right direction, you know, being able to really make a course southwest, then they could build up a significant lead, which, you know, going into a really good patch of weather now, probably for the next 2-3 days, once they have a lead like that, it might be real hard to catch up for the rest of the fleet. So real pivotal moment right now. Also, if we look at the situation from the perspective of traffic, this group is now in a much better position, much less traffic around, so much less to worry about in that sense. And if we look at the weather prediction and really go through, you know, basically what a course could be for this group over the next 2-3 days. So right now they're here, and then as the weather progresses, so this would be 12 o'clock tonight, and then tomorrow they might be able to make their way down this ridge. Great conditions on westwards towards the storm here. And yeah, fortunately the weather prediction has been changed and updated a little bit again, with this system moving significantly slower. And so yeah, it looks like the foilers up there should be able to make their way over this system, and that is basically going to give them absolutely fantastic sailing conditions. You know, the one downside is that it might put them a bit more west than they ideally would want to be. But if we look ahead at this weather area, which would be where, you know, possibly they could be getting around Saturday, let's say Friday, Saturday. So this is the weather prediction at the beginning of Saturday the 14th. And as we can see, a lot of low doldrum kind of areas here. And as that progresses Saturday, not going to be much better, but a little bit. Looks like this is, you know, traversable. Doesn't look like any areas with really no wind at all. And everything looks, you know, patchy, but pretty much favorable. And then again, you know, as we can see here with the trade winds, you know, the first in here is going to have a major advantage, of course. Now, as for the boats that decided to stay more to the east, actually, looking at the weather, I don't really see much of a path for them to pass this storm on the east side. So, you know, I guess it would be possible, but then the progress would be real slow, basically beating into the wind the whole way. So I don't see that happening. So they are going to have to make their way west also, I think, ultimately. And so that's still going to really take some time and be a real battle for them to get west enough with, you know, their pretty significantly slower boat speed. So looking at the larger weather picture again, if we look at where they are now, they still have, and of course also we should take the moment right now. So this is the situation now. So same for the group in the east. Basically, they will have to start making their way west, which probably will still take them most of the day today, if not longer, to get into the favorable winds also. And from then on, they'll really have to put the pedal to the metal, as they say, to get west enough to be able to avoid that storm. So it might be fun at this time to make a prediction and see what happens. And seeing the situation, and of course being a big Alex Thompson fan, I think that if there is a moment where Alex decides to really put the hammer down, this might be it. I'm looking at the tracker and the boat speeds now, and he somehow is managing to be consistently about a knot above what Linked Out and Bura Valet and Arkea are doing right now, even though they seem to be in winds that are, as far as direction goes, a little bit more favorable. But I see him doing 13 knots and they're doing 11.6, 11.2. So somehow he's being faster, so who knows, maybe he's already putting the hammer down and we'll see Alex actually build up a significant lead over the next few hours. It will be interesting to see, but I do think that if there was ever a moment, this might very well be his first real chance in the race here. He's in an excellent position and of course he is definitely one of the favorites. No one's really sure what this boat can do. And we saw in the previous race before the keel was busted off that they were incredibly fast and really just racing his way through the pack. So who knows, maybe he is doing that right now and you know, he'll show us what the beast can do. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So thank you again for watching. Make sure to check out our site also. Again, yesterday several more backers added to our member group, so thank you all for that. Thank you out for helping out. I'm definitely going to get a better microphone, by the way. Thanks for that tip. That's one of the first things that we're going to do for all you audiophiles out there. Yeah, have a great race day and I'll see you again in about 20 hours. Ciao.